and we're go. Okay, hey guys, what's up? I hope you all having a wonderful Mandela Effect evening. I got joined with me here. We got Jason.
Yep.
Say hello, Jason.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
And he's got his YouTube channel. You want to tell a little bit about it? Tell everybody, tell my subscribers and
Yeah, sure.
everybody about it. Go ahead.
Sure. It's the channel's called I Am, and I think I'm only 8 days into this right now, but I'm been posting about 2 videos a day. Except actually today was the first time I did one, but I feel like I have a lot to say, so I'm just getting them out. Yeah,
Definitely. Good to have you here, by the way.
Thank you.
Your channel's name is I Am, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Let's see. And what intrigued me a lot was your paranormal patterns of entities.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, you know, some of the people were saying they never admit to the lie, and they focus on the reaction.
Yeah, it's very weird. That was what. Sorry, what was that last part?
You want to talk a little bit about that, about focusing on the reaction and what you've noticed?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what that video is about. It's that pattern. It's just very strange. And it's not only strange in that this is just the pattern that I've witnessed and that apparently other people are seeing too, but it's also strange because it's very complex. I mean, it's a hard thing. Like if I tried to do it myself, it would be really hard. I'd have to pre-plan the thing. It just seems like it's a real complicated thing to do, but to this reality seems effortless, or they're not even aware that they're doing it, which is exactly. So if they say something, if they say something that's untrue, that's the best example to use. Okay. So if they're not being truthful and then they get caught not being truthful, or you suspect it. And if you confront that and you say, hey, if you call them out on it, they seem to, what I see is that the first phase that they go into denial, like, no, right? Like they're just blatant denial. And then their story starts to change because it's a lie. So you start to see that the stories aren't matching up, or, and then once you start questioning the stories, then it starts to somehow morph into the facts. They start to morph it into, they put the spotlight on your reaction to whatever it is that you call them out on. Then that becomes the spotlight. And so, which is strange. So
it is strange.
It's really weird. So what I've said is, on whatever occasion this has occurred, I've said, well, okay, I have no problem looking at my reaction, but let's talk about the action. But they don't hear that, which is really weird. It doesn't land.
Are these all people you've noticed, or just the non-ME people, or I mean, what is it?
It's the non-ME entities out there. It's the majority. It's weird. It's really strange. And then no matter, and so what I've done is I've tried different things. I've tried to, you can push further, which it escalates. It's almost like a, self-fulfilling prophecy, because the moment that you start pushing and pushing, then what they're pointing to becomes more and more true. Like, look at, like your anger or your frustration becomes the issue. And no matter how many times you say, no, I'm so you could either take the bait and you could start talking about your reaction, but that's a never-ending black hole. You just go down there. You never come out of that. It always becomes about that. Or you can, ignore that completely and stay on the topic of why their story changed. You know, talk about the story that changed or talk about the lie itself. But it doesn't, in either direction, you go nowhere.
Yeah. So
It doesn't.
I guess that leads me to ask the next question. Are they there? Are they in place to make us feel isolated with some intended purpose, you know, behind the puppetry? You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you feel like these people are puppets sometimes?
Yeah, I've contemplated that. I think that what we're dealing with, yeah, I do. I think it's this. This is now, okay, for me, um, before I really realized, before I even was familiar with Mandela Effect, I did a lot of kind of more introspective work, you know, like a lot of being in the present moment, but very deep into awareness and what am I that's in this. That was my kind of own curiosity brought me there, okay, to that kind of really interested in that I'm here. That to me is amazing that we're here, and as you know, and as this or as what, that question to me, I can do this with you forever on that question. But before I found out about Mandela Effect, it was hold on, I gotta shut this thing off. It's gonna drive me crazy. Before I found out about Mandela Effect, that was my hobby, and then I started to notice that I can't be found. Like, I'm not here. I am in a physical body, but if you X-ray me, if you make an incision and you look for me, you're going to find all my pieces. Now, this is important because when I start to realize that I'm actually invisible here, and I'm wearing this flesh spacesuit so that you can see me and so that we can communicate and so that I can contemplate myself. Okay. But what's in here that's aware of all this is invisible. So I started to notice that it's very likely that in the same way, and I use this analogy a lot because for me it's perfect. I mean, it started with a sock puppet, then this works better. But you know those glass containers that a scientist uses in order to, like, and they have the gloves that are built into the glass containers?
Yeah, yeah.
And they're able to manipulate the object in the glass box without contaminating it because it's built in with the gloves.
Yes, I've seen those before in auto shops. It's like they do that to when they're working on parts and they're spraying.
Okay.
They're trying to get it prepped for paint. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what I started to notice is that those gloves are basically, if you think about those gloves as being the body, and you think about everything in that glass container is everything you see, sense, taste, smell, and the hands that you forgot that you were, and the body that's outside of the glass container that you've forgotten about because you're so caught up in being the gloves and being in the box that you're unaware that you're actually operating from an outside of that space. You're not actually, those hands aren't really in the box. They're in the gloves, which are in the box. And so I started to notice my body is much like that. And I'm operating from a different space, whatever that means. That means that this is your soul that we're referring to, but whereas that soul can't be seen in this dimension. It's not here. It can't be seen. We're wearing this. So this is what you can see. So that's how I started to really understand, or my best analogy as to what my experience was. So now let's go fast forward to Mandela Effect and how it relates to it. What I find is that a lot of people, it seems like a commonality between all of us who are affected by this, you know, the ME effect, or however you want to say it, affected by these changes or notice the changes, seem to be people that were at one point did some sort of inquiry, whether or not it was inquiry like my own, or interest in there being intelligence behind this, or whatever it was, seemed to notice the changes. And I'm wondering if what's happened is that the moment that you're not aware that you're inside the gloves, you left room for another set of hands to come into those same gloves and
Yes. Yes.
choose to listen to different thoughts.
Yes. That's what I meant by puppet masters and puppetry.
Right. That's what I see. That's the best way I could put it. For me, that's kind of what I see is happening. And I can even see it with myself. That seems to have surfaced, and everything seems a little bit more like that's like it's now you can't forget that really for very long. Because I mean, I feel like even my own self, in like, you know, interacting with people, you can find it to be a very frustrating experience. And, you know, and everything seems very heightened, like something's bubbling up clearly. And so if I find that I, you know, fall asleep basically and forget that my hands are in there, I can become subject to the same experience until I wake up and go, what the hell was that? What was I even thinking? Why was I even following that thought? Why did I let that get me so angry? Why did I, in that sense? So I think it's important that we stay awake.
I know exactly. Jason, I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, and people are saying, you know, there's been, you know, blaming bad memories, you know, and things of that nature, and people blowing up with anger, trying to dismiss the mere mentioning of the ME. That's what gets me going.
Yeah.
And it can be quite frustrating at times, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not alone. I just want to tell you, you're not alone, man.
Well, thanks, because I think that like you know, you touched on it. There's that isolating experience that feels like, wow, you know, because you would feel like you were going crazy if we didn't have this. It would feel like you were going mad, because it's hard to find, you know, we're few and far between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And I mean, it's got to be some kind of highly advanced dream of sorts, you know? Like, however, there's more to it, you know? You talk about this in your videos of the patterns of behavior that you're seeing. And you think like a code? You think it could be like a code that we could, you know, we could figure it out?
Well,
you know, once you see the things happening.
You know, I had just published a video today discussing, I think I might have titled it, the greatest, your greatest weapon in this reality. I think that's what I titled it, which for me, it has worked. And what I find interesting too, and I don't know if you follow like any kind of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and you know, if you're familiar with some of that, but my guess is that you are. But there's that observer effect, you know, where a particle. Are you familiar with this? Like,
yes,
quantum physics?
Somewhat. Is it? You want to explain it to the rest of us though?
Like, yeah, sure. There's a study that I think it's called the double slit experiment.
Yeah.
Where if you fire particles, when they fired particles through, I mean, you should look it up because I'll spend a lot of time trying to describe this. But basically, an observer, just the mere measuring, whether it's by camera or physical body, just somebody observing a particle changes the particle's state. When nobody's there to observe it, it's a wave. When there's an observer present, it turns into matter, which is really interesting. I mean, that's a game changer because you're made of particles. So it's weird. It's kind of strange, but then at the same time, it makes sense because you're kind of pretty important to be able to do nothing but merely look, and it changes actual reality. Anyway, to not go down, I mean, that's a great conversation. It's one of my favorite conversations, but what I found in terms of your greatest weapon in this reality would be, for me, what seems to work for me is that when I encounter somebody who is clearly not from the reality I'm from, and if it's a, you know, a provocative engagement or some kind of combative kind of interaction, it works best. It's most obviously, it's most, obvious in terms of you can see the effect of this. But if you're standing and I'm looking at you and you're looking at me, all I have to do is just, and simple. You don't have to do anything crazy. You just have to remember to do this, which is when you're looking at the person, to look at their eyes. Don't creep them out. Don't stare. Don't do anything creepy. Just like, you and I would be looking at each other, and you look at the eyes, and just in your own head, you just, for a moment's time, recognize that there's an entity right behind that retina that's looking out at me. That's it. And I know that sounds kind of like, but if everybody would try that in their next interaction, even if it's with a family member that knows how to get under your skin, or if it's in one of those moments where you're just kind of like, you're up against the wall with somebody, if you do that, if you can remember to do that, I'd be really interested to hear the results, because for me, 100% of the time, without fail, if I remember to do that, everything changes in that moment. It's really weird. It's really weird. It like changes, meaning I don't know if it's my perception that's changing so dramatically, or if it's what the content of the other person, or if it's the other person that actually changes. But something changes. For 100% sure, something changes. And that's all I'll do, is if I can remember to do that, is just to notice while you're talking, whatever it is in that moment, that there's an entity right behind that retina. And the moment I notice that there's an entity right behind that everything changes. It's really weird. But I'd be curious to see if anyone else can remember to do it in a moment. See if they report the same.
They say a moment, a standard moment is like 90 seconds. So that's all it takes, right? About 90 seconds.
I mean, that would be even much. I honestly have noticed it all in a quick, fleeting interaction. It's literally just I just notice it. I say it in my head real quick, like, wow, there's an entity behind that retina. While you're even, disagreeing with me, or we're having a moment where we're just kind of at each other's throats or something, it changes. It's strange. Or the venom leaves. That's the way I've described it. The venom kind of is gone. Well, it's like there's no bite.
Speaking on disagreeing, I mean, you find that narcissistic behavior a lot, where people just want to disagree all the time, no matter what you say. And
right. Don't. What's that?
Do you ever come across people who just want to disagree with you? I mean, those are the kind of people you should avoid to begin with, but.
Right. But if it's family, or if it's someone close.
That makes it hard.
Yeah. Then you're up against and it does make it hard.
Do you have any or let me ask you this on the positive side, do you have any ME folks in your family? I'll put it that way.
It's funny, because sometimes it feels like, yeah, maybe. And then sometimes I go, nope.
It's like they go back and forth.
It feels like that, it's almost like, in the same way, it's like thoughts in a way, how like a thought, you could have, a thought that tells you, yeah, okay, go approach that girl over there and, ask her if she wants to go have some coffee with you. And then you go do that. And then you get shut down. And then when you walk away, that same thought says, what did you do that for? It's like the same thought that sent me over there is now scolding me for doing that. So
yes.
In some ways, it's like this constant, but we're not even aware of it. We just kind of have that chatter in our head. So I tend to give people a free pass, because you realize hey, you know what? They're not responsible for their own thoughts. It's just landing. It just appears. And then it's up to us whether or not we're going to put our attention on the thought and do it. So I kind of feel like when it comes to people and family and that kind of thing, it's like, well, sometimes we're listening to thoughts that run amok, and sometimes we get back on track and realize we don't have to. And I don't know. I tend to, a lot of the time, it feels like no one can hear me.
I know what you mean. And Vanessa VA, I think she's one of your subs. She's been on here before, and she talked a little bit. She's been saying that she witnessed the same narcissistic behavior in which her reaction to their dishonest, to quote her exactly, okay, she says,
Yep.
which her reaction to their dishonest action is forced into becoming the problem by the perpetrator, and their dishonest action goes totally unacknowledged.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And they try to make you feel bad or guilty and crazy
Yeah.
for having just a normal human reaction.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Right. Exactly. Like you're supposed to be this robot. Exactly. Vanessa, I've seen her. I've had conversation with her through the comments, but yeah, no, that's exactly right. Exactly. That's my experience as well. It's exactly that. It's strange. It doesn't matter. You know, I did use that from that movie, Anger Management. It's a funny movie, but yeah, I used a clip from that movie where Adam Sandler is on the plane, cool as can be, you know, and then they come over and they're just pushing him into this corner where eventually he just freaks out because they're like, you need to calm down. He's like, no, I'm completely calm. But they keep going until he's like, I'm calm. And then they hit him with a stun gun. And it's like, what the hell? They drive you to this point to where it's this self-fulfilling prophecy until you go, you know what? This is what you want me to do. You want me to freak out. And then you just start freaking out. And then it's like you gave them what they wanted. It's the craziest thing, but they'll do that until you're up against the wall, till it's like it's either that or you go crazy. I mean, the reality that I was from, you have disagreements, you know, you have different opinions. You may not like someone's opinion, and sometimes there would be a little bit of an argument over it, but it wasn't, you know, wasn't what it is now. You get shut down. You can't have a different opinion. You completely get you don't know, you know, you don't get heard. It's a very weird space.
I know it's a very small space of trust nowadays, and many people have become completely withdrawn from others, and it hurts a lot, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, once you see the patterns of behavior, you see it for what it is, you know?
Right.
It's almost comical too sometimes, isn't it? In a way.
I mean, I haven't gotten to the comedy part yet, but yeah, no, it is. Of course, no, it is. I mean, there's sometimes where you just realize, like, yeah, I mean, you end up laughing because we sound crazy, you know. I mean,
hey, by the way, I think you got some people subbing you too. By the way, guys, go ahead and sub this man. Okay, he's good.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, get this word out.
Oh yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, but I feel like it's that, you know, it is this group here, and I think that when you do things like this, and you're dedicating your time to these Fridays doing these live events, and you know, that's just it. It's like you know, the collective, and I don't think that I do feel like, you know, there's a specific number of us, and it's the number we need to get the job done. I don't feel like it's a, you know, oh, well, we need more people. We just need, it's just us. We're good. We just need us collectively to get on the same page, get up to speed together and strategize it proper, and figure out how we can handle the different situations together, and what works, what doesn't, you know, that kind of thing.
That's right, because it's not a one fix all solution, is it?
No, it doesn't seem like it is.
No, it's a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
You know, we're having what seems to be merging of worlds here. What is your take on it? Because I didn't ask you that. What is your take on the ME? What do you think is causing it and stuff like that?
I went from the CERN, you know, from looking at CERN and saying, well, clearly, you know, I went there. I also, I mean, I definitely feel like something's going on there. I mean, there's so many pieces to this thing.
I know.
It's so elaborate. It's so well done. It's just like, but then you get this and you go, is this a hiccup? Was this like, are we always shifting in realities? And this one, we just kind of like, it just, you know, it revealed too much. Like, was there always small changes, but this was such a huge gap that, you know, it kind of showed itself to some of us. Are we, you know, here now, this group, to raise the vibration, and because obviously this place needs help. You know, where we came from, it was in great shape, but it wasn't this. So clearly this needs help. Is that why we're here? I feel like it is. I got God's work tattooed on me because I felt like that's what I'm here to do. And I'm not even, this thing has turned me closer to religion than ever before, because there's a lot of things that are happening at this point where you go, well, everything's on the table. I mean, it's a really weird thing that's occurred, and that we're still here doing this, and we're kind of like without the manual rule book, and we're supposed to navigate our way through this thing. It's pretty nutty. So yeah, it feels like it's by design. And I know how it ends. I know that we win in the end. So it's just that journey to that point. I mean, we got to do it, but I feel like if the less stress and less self-inflicted suffering that we do, the quicker we'll get to the end. And, we win in the end. So we need to get to the end.
That's right. That's right. We win in the end, just like that song in, what's that movie? Teen Wolf.
Yeah, like that. Right, exactly. Good reference. Yeah, we do. We win in the end.
What I wanted to ask you was, what happened to the people that were in our former reality? That's my biggest question for you.
Oh, what about? That's a great question, and I've asked that question too, and I've wondered if there's another version of me in that reality, and those people are like, "What the hell's up with Homeboy?" I don't know. But what about the idea, like, who was here in this body in this reality before I got here? What about that guy? Where's that guy? Like, because we just land here and we're like, whoa, what the heck's going on? But who did we just replace? Who was that? And what was that guy doing? Was he like the rest of these people? And do we look like we just woke up? But really, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. That's kind of like that's the entertainment part of this, that I feel like it's very easy for us to get really hooked on and take that I look at as kind of bait, but it's kind of like candy. I like it, so I'll do it anyway. And like, but at the same time, it's definite, like, it's a little bit of a distraction, because when we all start doing that and going down the path of CERN and this and that, we're not really going anywhere, because we're still not figuring out how it is we're going to navigate this space. Forget about how I got in here, though it's a fantastic question. And so is, all of this, like, what happened to the one I left behind, and who did I just replace? And those are my favorite questions to ask, but it's definitely more of like a candy thing. It's not really going to bring us to the end. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If that makes sense.
And when you say candy, we're coming right up on Halloween tomorrow night. I hope you all have your candy. I hope you're stocked up.
Yeah, I've got a lot of what are they, Butterfingers, and I've been eating them for like 3 weeks. I don't even know what I have left. I'm just
Oh man. Always got to prepare, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like with this reality, we have to prepare for the worst.
Right.
Expect the best, but hope for the worst, right?
Right. Hope for the best. Expect
or hope for the best. Expect. I got it.
Right. Right. Hope for the worst. No.
Yeah, it seems a lot of us are tired these nights. Many people aren't getting enough sleep. I know I'm one of them.
Me too. Yeah.
I only got like 5 hours of sleep last night, but I'm still kicking.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know that was a common thing through all of us. I stopped sleeping. I only get like 4 or 5 hours. I thought that was just me.
Did you notice a breathing change? Did your lungs get smaller?
Not that I noticed. No. Is that something that's?
I think that's one of the
physical. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Short breath. Fantastic. Yeah, actually, breathing is very much like what I was referring to in terms of, like, how like you just breathe and it's on automatic for the most part until someone mentions breathing, and then you kind of take autopilot. See, like, you just took a deep breath, you take autopilot of breathing off, and then you start controlling your breathing yourself. And then when you forget to do that, it just takes care of itself again. But that's exactly what I feel like is happening. The moment we take our eyes off the fact that you're in the present moment and this is happening right now, you're leaving yourself susceptible to autopilot coming in and taking over.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
AI come taking over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Exactly.
feel like your focus shifts sometimes? Like you may be working on something and then you get distracted easily. Is that an issue with you at all?
Yeah, I have a very one channel thing, and I find that there's so much of that, that it drives me crazy. I can't, I don't have, I have two kids. Both of them are asking me questions at the same time. I'm getting it, text message, and and I'm on the phone, and it's just that I can't. I've never been good at that, and I don't even know if that was really actually the question. but but yeah, I've never been, that I can remember, been good at that.
Yeah, because it seems to be a common thing among us. Like we have some sort of, I know they want to call it a disease, don't they? The elites and the people in the media. That's what my goal
Yeah.
is, to get the media to see us and take our opinions and not just like call us crazy. That's my goal.
Right. But that's where I feel like that's a great goal to have, but that's huge. And I love it. I love it. But yeah, no, that's a big one. I mean, that would be on the cusp of actual shift again for us,
Yeah, well, there has to be a
huge.
major shift. A lot of people are waiting for a major one to happen where everyone's going to turn their heads. I just don't see it happening right now. Maybe sometime before Christmas. We'll probably, like this time last year, we had a lot of shifts in October. And I'm sure you remember, like there was a lot of things that flipped, like the Houston, we had a problem, or Houston, we have a problem.
Wait, which one is it supposedly?
It's supposed to be Houston.
We have a problem. That's what it is.
And it changed to Houston, we've had a problem, and then back again. So have you noticed any of that going on with things? What?
No,
Things shifting more than.
Yeah, like shifting and then shifting back again. Yeah, I forget which one. Someone had mentioned one, and I couldn't believe that it had switched back again. I got really excited because it felt like I was home again. I realized, nope, it's just going back and forth. But yeah, there's a lot of that, right? Yeah, no, but I didn't know about the Houston. We have a problem specifically that then it switched and it switched again.
Yeah, that one and the Flintstones, and they say Jim Beam and Jim Bean. The whiskey.
Yeah, it switched. That was turned to Jim Beam.
Yeah, was it Jim Bean or Jim Beam?
I remember it as Bean with an N.
With an N?
That's how I remember it.
Because it changed to an M now. It's weird. I know it's weird. But Jim Beam is what it is now. I don't have any audio. Are you there?
That's crazy. Yeah. No, I've not heard about that one. That's a crazy one.
Yeah, and we talk about that a lot on my channel. We talk about AI. How about the AI steak sauce? You like the AI steak sauce?
No, I don't know it.
A1 used to have a dash, or whether it didn't.
Yeah,
or
right. Oh, now it doesn't. Now it looks like an I.
It looks like A.1 is what it is. It looks like AI.
Wow.
And I joke around with people. How do you like the AI steak sauce?
That's funny. That's funny. No, yeah, no, I didn't even know that one changed. See, for me, the changes became from those things. Like that's what made me go, wow, what is this? Because I remember, the first ones that came out, that first batch from Sex and the City and all that. All of those when those, at least for me, when all those started to hit, right after that, it became the people right in front of me. Right in the closest to me, and then that behavioral stuff is what really flipped me 180. So that's kind of, I feel a little out of touch as to those types of changes, like logos changes and all that. I do feel, I mean, out of touch in terms of what recently has changed there, because I've had my eye on the people so much that I haven't even paid attention to those changes. So
yeah, have you ever seen, what is that series where there's like 5 or so hackers, and one of them is like a people analyzer? What's his?
Oh, what? It's a TV show, TV series.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the name. Somebody help me in here in the chat.
Someone's got to know.
Come on, someone's got to know. You tell me what it is, you get a prize. Okay. I'll be checking the chat. So,
They had a people analyzer.
yeah. I mean, there's like people get paid very much like by casinos because they're always looking for people who can analyze.
Right, like that.
You check with one of them, maybe.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, they get paid a lot of money.
Except the analyzer himself has changed, so you won't even notice.
but you feel yourself changing, like
no
shifts.
I'm consistent. That's important.
Okay, you're consistent, but the world
that's important, right? Everything I see, right? But that consistency being me, that's really important. That's an important noticing for all of us to notice that, because that's where if we get caught up so much in all the changes and we start looking at that as like, you know, and we don't recognize that we're consistent. The fact that you're here and that you're able to see change, you have to be consistent in order to see change. If you weren't consistent and you changed, you wouldn't notice it because you went with change. But the fact that you're, you know, consistently here and you've remained consistently watching, you can see change. That's important, I think, just for sanity. I think that's really important. And it should pop you in the, you know, being aware of the present moment. I think being aware of the present moment and being aware of your being in this and looking at all these changes, just that is important. And I think that we could probably change and I think we could evoke the shift that we're waiting for. I don't think we need to wait for it. I think we can actually shift it together. I think we could, if we could all just really be aware of some of these fundamental, obvious kind of, you know, most obvious things that are never looked at.
How long have you known about the ME?
About a year. About
okay.
a year. Yeah,
wow.
About a year.
Did you what was the first one you noticed?
A little more than a year. Okay, well, I didn't come on to the video wasn't like by recommendation, and it wasn't somebody who came over to me and said, "Hey, how do you remember?" What the first thing I noticed was when I was driving in my car and watching a YouTube video, but it was like some news thing, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at and the way people were behaving. Because I think it was like Antifa or something at the time, you know, some group. And I couldn't understand what I was looking at. It felt so foreign to me. I felt like I didn't know what the hell I was seeing. And I also couldn't understand how this just popped on the scene and nobody else seems to notice it popped on the scene. That to me was so weird that when I got home, I searched on YouTube for a consciousness shift, because I was positive that something just shifted. I knew then that something weird just occurred and nobody else seems to see that it changed. And so I searched out Mandela Effect. It didn't find me. I didn't have a name for it, but when I searched reality shift, I became aware of Mandela Effect in that search. And then I noticed all these other changes and all these things. So it was behavioral change that I saw first. Okay. Then I saw the logo changes. That just further confirmed that I was right about what I was looking at. And then when I would try and show friends and stuff, and I realized that it wasn't the importance of what I was talking about. The fact that I remember we were on this side of the Milky Way galaxy, but now we're over here. The fact that people could have that conversation and then ask me if I'm hungry for dinner, did not compute. This was too big. I don't know what I expect everyone to do, but not that. Not just, okay, well, what do you want to eat? I mean, it was like, you know, or how's that? Well, you know, how's that affect my life? It's like, what are you talking about? It did affect your life. But then I realized nobody can hear me until you guys.
Yeah, until you made a ripple. See?
Yeah, well, you made the ripple. Yeah, you were reporting these things. So it's kind of you that then made me go, oh, further confirmation. Got this. This is linked to that. That's why that happened. And here we go. So,
Yeah, there's a reason for everything. I truly believe it. And what's funny is you could be thinking about a person, let's say, have you ever had, I'm sure you have that all the time. You're thinking about someone and they call you or you see them at Walmart or something.
Yeah, that stuff. Right. The numbers are huge for me. 444. Yeah, look, I tattooed it. 444 on my.
What is? Can you tell me about the significance of 44? Because numerology says it's something with angels. Is that what you believe too?
Well, I didn't know that. I just know that I would wake up at 4:44. Woke up 4:44. Every time I looked at the clock, it was 4:44. Everything I would see 444, 444, just in license plates, all different. And I'm not even looking for it. It was just there. It was so obvious, and I just felt like, God, at one point, it felt like the heavens must think I'm really stupid because they have to send me this message so like, you know, and keep drilling it at me as if like, okay, I see it. I see 444. What am I supposed to do with it? So I did Google it. And yeah, it did say something about angels and letting you know that you're on the right path, which then I felt like, wow, awesome. Then when I even went to go get my tattoo, the guy who did the tattoo, his address was 444. So I was like, okay, you're the guy to do it. So, you know, yeah. And now I don't see it as much. I, you know, I see it once in a while, but if I catch 445, it's big for me because it lets me know something's off. And then I've been right about that. So it's weird. I kind of like, I don't look for 444, but if I see 445, then I know it's off. So,
well, here's something maybe you didn't know before. And Josh Levy, I had an interview with him recently, and he actually helped me prepare a speech the other day. Thank you, Josh. We see the numbers 444 on the inside of 2 6s. So you have actually 46664 is the number of Nelson Mandela's prison. That's his prison number. Weird, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, that's really weird.
And did you know that in South Africa they have a big statue of him, and inside his right ear is none other than the white rabbit?
No.
That's serious. Like,
are you serious? Is that true?
Yeah. Did you see? Did you know? I'm sure you've seen that video where that guy's holding up the sign, Bond 1.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mandela, the CERN video, right? Yeah.
Who was the first James Bond? Barry.
Yeah, that Bond 1, whatever that. Yeah, who was that? Yeah, I followed this. I don't know if it was you who did a video on this. Was it you? But I remember watching this video. Yeah. Yeah, what was it? Who was the first Bond?
Barry Nelson.
Oh, right. And there it is. Mandela.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
I mean, come on. Like, what is that? You know? And that's not, it's like there's so much of that you go, even if you're from this reality, see, that's when I go, are you just a program? Are you just like are you not, is this a real glitch? Because even if you're from a different reality, you should see that and go, well, yeah, no, that's weird.
Yeah, no. Definitely.
It's like, come on, that's the craziest thing. I mean, and it's CERN, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, you know,
mascot, right?
In the Matrix, in the movie The Matrix, you know, when they see that cat walking by twice, it's a glitch in the Matrix.
Glitch. Right.
You remember that part?
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what this feels like. It's like, or I mean, but it's so obvious that you go, oh, you're doing this on purpose, but why? It's like that. It's like that mocking or saying it before you know. It's like that same. It's very. I mean, I don't. You know, it's very dark.
Have you noticed any changes like in the sky or the sun or the moon or anything like that?
Yeah, of course, right? The sun's white, and you know that I can see it. I can see. That's the other thing I just said the other day. It's like I've never been able to see the sun. I can see it. Like you can see it through the clouds. I see it all the time. A little circle around it. You know, I actually can see it's strange. But of course, and then you know. I mean, I
weird looking clouds, which I'll share. Teresa took some amazing photographs. She walks home from work every day
Mm-hmm.
And she wait. So if you're not outside, if you're in your car, you pretty much have the blinders on. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, for those of you who actually get out there and look and open your eyes, you can see some amazing stuff. Hold on, I'll share one of these photos with y'all. Okay, look at that. Kind of like wispy looking clouds.
Wow.
And they're permanent too. It's not like
Wow.
contrails which disappear, right? They just kind of linger.
That's crazy. Yeah. Where is that?
That's actually in Vegas.
Mm.
Just over Vegas. Look at that. It kind of looks
Yeah.
like a dragon a little bit, doesn't it? Like, I don't know. You could use your imagination there, but
Well, I mean, it's not the clouds that we grew up with, right? I mean, I remember white puffy clouds. These are like,
yes.
they're
Yes,
always these.
we only had like 4 or 5 cloud types, and now we have like 12. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Right. There's 3 layers and weird. I mean, it's, yeah. And I look at and I go, well, come on. That's like, it's, you know, weather manipulation or it's just some.
I wanted to show you something. I don't know if you got to see it, but I actually had someone on Facebook shared it with me. There is a poodle moth now. Have you ever heard of a Venezuelan poodle moth?
No, I want to see that.
Okay, let's see it.
Who doesn't want to see a poodle moth? I don't know what I'm about to look at, but I'm really excited.
I said if no one sees this and doesn't wake up, I mean, something's got to be wrong with you, you know?
I want to see a poodle moth.
It's a newly discovered, whatever you want to call it. It's like a hybrid bug dog thing. I don't know.
Yes, good. Good. Just what we need. A poodle and a moth hybrid. Oh, no way. What the? Are you serious? Venezuelan poodle moth. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. Sarah, look up poodle moth right now. Google image that thing.
Okay.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. That's crazy. No way. Oh, it's big. Oh, this.
Oh, wow.
Wait, is that real? Did you?
It's real. It's like a Pokemon, isn't it?
Is that really real? Are we sure that's real? It can't be real. Dude, I don't want to fall in this one because if we fall in this one and everything. Oh, it is real. Oh.
Okay, that might be Photoshop. That's
Yeah, that one's. I don't think so. Wow, that's amazing. There's no way. That's so weird.
Oh, have you ever heard of bats that pollinate flowers? Like,
No, I haven't.
let me show you. We have pollinating bats.
Pollinating bats.
They fly around like humming.
Oh wow, no way. I've never heard of that.
Not just the birds and the bees anymore. It's now the bats too.
The bats, birds, and bees. Holy cow! Bat pollen.
Yeah,
That's
we could
weird.
talk. We could talk all day about animals.
Now, do you find that when you
I don't
mention
know.
these to like people in this reality, they're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, of course. Why? Well, you didn't never knew. I mean, are they doing that? Or is everyone going, well, yeah, I mean, a poodle moth is weird. Or they are going, oh no, I've heard of that.
No, they're passing it off, of course.
Wow. Yeah,
They don't know. That's the thing. It's
doesn't register. Yeah, it doesn't register. If they're not interested. It's weird.
They think you're trying to sell them something, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how they behave.
So I mean, is this like a mirror? Because you know, we see the Q, and now it's magic mirror.
Yeah.
You know, all these computer screens and televisions. I've heard that there's like black to conjure up things. I don't know. It's it's like a magic mirror on the wall. That's your television, by the way.
That's what?
Magic mirror on the wall is like your television.
Interesting. Yeah, mirror.
So I'm just wondering, are these people that are like mirroring? I guess they're mirroring your behavior or your reaction. I guess I don't understand
when they're doing this. They want to put the spotlight on your reaction to their action and not on their action. That's what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
When they're
that's right.
doing that. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah. And then, yeah, right. But they get support on that too. It's not, you know, like that's what they do. It's
Yeah.
weird. Someone that you can do anything you want and then just blame everyone else's reaction to whatever it was you did. And then you got away with what you did because it's all about the reaction. It's very weird.
I guess one of your subscribers asked you, have you had any night terrors since this started? Like,
I haven't at all. Which
okay,
I've
good.
gotten that question before, but no, I haven't. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Are people getting that?
And what? Oh
Are
yeah,
people?
there's a Bible passage. I wanted to help that user out because there was a Bible passage there. Let's see, it was Second Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 7. For the secret power of lawlessness is already at work, but the one who now holds it back will continue to do so till he is taken out of the way. And I'm assuming they're referring to the Holy Spirit there, where it is written that the Holy Spirit would be completely withdrawn from the world. And if one was not abiding in God, they would be vacant for malevolent forces to take over. Is that right?
That's kind of what we were talking about, right?
Yeah. So if if you're not right with God, if you're not right with the Lord, you need to get so in that position, right?
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, and I also see it as, you know, I'm not familiar with, you know, the Bible specifically, or, you know, just didn't grow up with any type of, you know, religion, but I can certainly say without a shadow of a doubt that this is by design. And I'm amazed when, you know, people can't see that because they don't understand how they're put together. It's weird. But yeah, so I think that in no matter how you get to know that there's a bigger thing going on, that it seems like that those are the people that are, you know, kind of that's all of us. And then there's, I guess, the others who weren't aware of it, who are kind of, like you said, they're vacant bodies in a way, are now being kind of, it's very weird. It's strange. We're in a strange place
I
right
know,
now.
and we're searching for familiarity.
Yeah, we're finding it here, I think.
I
You
think
know?
so too. Even if we're across states, you know, like you said, you're in the West Coast, right? You're on the
Yeah.
West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast.
But
I'm
look, we're
from Michigan.
this. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but this is why this is important. You know, this group, you know, you're you know, you've been doing this for a while, so it's like, you know, you're all, you know, you guys have been leading this like that, and that's important because it gives people, you know, if we didn't have this, you'd go mad. I mean, people would have gone absolutely crazy.
I know, I know. And let's hope that we're still able to continue to do that because,
Yeah.
you know, YouTube has been censoring a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm always careful about what I say. I never say anything bad about anybody.
Right.
You just have to be careful about that.
Right.
'Cause, you know, we're really trying to raise our vibration in a positive direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you know,
Just hold your current vibration. It's good enough around here. You don't really even have to you just got to show up, man. You don't really have to do anything. You just show up. Hold your current state. Just don't get sucked into their low level. And you're good. That's it.
that's right.
That's why we're here. We already came here with everything you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody told me they had a bad dream or whatever, that they were heading toward this whirlpool. You know, like the stuff that you see in the oceans, it's sucking the ships. You know, you got to try to avoid those pitfalls. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's where I find that little tool that I mentioned earlier, that I put that video out saying your greatest weapon in this reality, is that, to me, is a way to avoid some of that bait that's out there. You know, they chum the water, and if you're quick to bite, you're gone. You just go with it, you know. But if you are aware and you're able to see these people for what they are, that you're looking at a body, and right behind that retina is an entity, and that's it. You don't have to judge it, but that should be enough for you to realize, wow, so they're just the person who's talking to you, whether or not they're saying something that's, you know, whatever it is that they're acting out or baiting you, something happens when you just notice that. Don't have to do anything more. I'd be curious. For me, that's my experience. 100% of the time, every single time, it changes. So I'd love to hear what your subscribers, if people try that, and just to report and just see, because it's pretty obvious to me when I've done it. And the only problem is remembering to do it, because in the heat of the moment or when something, it's a very hard thing to remember. But if you can, I think it's huge.
I didn't get to ask you, what do you do for a living, man? If you don't mind me asking. Like,
yeah, nope.
Like
advertising. I own a company that I've owned for over 10 years, and it's advertising. It's geared towards designers and photographers. Yeah, but I've been running that for like 10 plus years. And so that's what I do. But
that's awesome. So you're able to get the word out there, I'm sure, probably a lot better than some folks who stay glued to their TV, I'm sure. But
yeah. Well, I'm trying.
I'm sure you meet interesting people along the way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You're an IT specialist, yeah?
Yes. So
awesome.
we have to have a keen memory on a lot of things. You know, I've had to remember countless acronyms.
I bet.
So
interesting.
Yeah, so memory is one of those things that's being plagued right now. It's obvious. I don't know if you know that Bob Hope Mandela. Have you heard that latest one?
Just recently.
Thanks for the memories is now thanks for the memory.
Yeah. Come on.
What's up with that?
I know there's thousands of these.
You could explain it for me.
They keep popping up, right? Or is it? Do you think it was a shift in that these are, or do you think that it's constant? There's this constant new, like it wasn't that, but it, like, did this all change and we're just noticing the changes as they go because there's so many small ones?
That's a great question, because I've been wondering that myself.
Right. Or are these just constantly coming in new?
Right. Because it's, you know, here's the thing. I've spoken with Teresa, and I got to mention her because she's like the best residue hunter I've come across everywhere. She's like the residue queen. Awesome. Teresa Lynn. She's awesome. Yeah. And she finds what she thinks are new things sometimes, but I discovered them actually 3 months ago. And I said, Teresa, you know, you sent me residue for this 3 months ago. And it must be like her doppelganger, like sending me the residue before. And now,
wow,
this is the new her. So yeah, I've been running into a lot of that, not just with her, but with other people. Like, it's really weird.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Yeah.
I actually, I don't know if I should say it on here, but I mean, I'm really embarrassed to say this, but she became another person. She said she always remembered the Lord's Prayer the way it is now, with debts and debtors. And, you know, I could not connect to that, because I know it was trespasses. I mean, what do you remember? Was it trespasses or debts and debtors?
I don't have a memory on that. I don't know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the, do you connect with any of the Bible ones? Like, judge not lest you be judged, or anyone like that? Do you remember?
No, I'm not. I mean, you could say them, but I wouldn't. They're too subtle for me to notice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I, you know, which for me, you know, it's like, and I have some of those, right? You know, it's like JCPenney. I don't know. I look at JCPenney, I go, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to begin with, so I don't know. Then there's the ones where I go, oh yeah, no, of course, whiteout. You know, of course.
Yeah, whiteout's messed up. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Febreze, all of those obvious ones. It's like, come on, what are we really? But anyway, for me, those are very obvious ones that I just know. But then there's the Bible stuff that I kind of go, you know, I'm sure it changed. I'm gonna, of course, go on the side of it changed, because I have enough displaying change that I go, well, of course it did. You know, so if you say that it was, you know, a wolf or a lion.
Sorry, I just noticed Nathan Sanders in our chat. I just wanted to give him a huge shout out. Nathan, thank you for telling me about that. He was the one that found that. Thanks for the memories. The Bob Hope one. So thanks, Nathan.
Awesome. Good find.
Yeah, excellent. There's still a ton of Emmys out there. We just haven't found them yet. I mean, you believe that's the case?
Yeah, I do. Right. It's got to be tons.
Some of these logo ones are really hard to spot, but I have to ask you about Mr. Rogers' neighborhood real quick, because I know that's one that everyone can seem to connect to.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. This one's messed up. I say what the song is a Emmy, right? His song in what?
What's
in
that?
The neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in
the
what?
neighborhood. In the neighborhood.
Now it's this neighborhood.
Yeah, no. Because then that would be, I mean, it doesn't even make sense, you know.
Okay, did you ever notice that? Like the R's being all connected like that?
No, I never noticed that. No. I noticed the M like swoop stuff like that, but no, the R's, no. Never noticed that. No.
Okay, I'll just get opinion of that.
Mm-mm. No, and of course the neighborhood, not this neighborhood, because this neighborhood doesn't make sense, because then that would be his, but he's talking to all of us. It should be ours.
It makes sense. It hurts my brain sometimes to think about it. And what about that one butterfly in the sky? I can go twice as high, or I can fly twice as high. Which one is it?
Oh, I don't know that one. What is that?
It's Reading Rainbow.
I don't know that one.
Well, let's see what the people in the chat say. By the way, we're going to be giving away a little prize here soon. Yeah, Party Puppy, would you pick somebody for a prize for me? Thank you. So what are some of the other things you talk about besides paranormal stuff? What are some of the things you deal with? Like, tell our subscribers out there.
It's a good question. You know, I think 8 days old, so I'm, I've got a lot coming. But again, I think that what I'm focusing on in my channel is how we operate now, like what we're going to do now, versus, I think it's important that everybody's got their, that we have all these channels, everyone keeping their eye on different things, I mean, we have a lot of people keep their eyes on, a lot of the Bible changes specifically. And then we have people who are just blanketing changes in general. And then we have other people who are, encouraging discussion and that kind of thing. And of course, obviously there's a support group clearly going on, because we're feeling all very isolated individually without the groups. But I think where I'm focusing on is how we navigate ourselves through this. Now that we see, okay, look, we all know it's changed. And then what are we going to do about it? What now? And as a collective, as a group, I say in one of my videos, I mentioned that if a pipe breaks, you call a plumber, and then the plumber gets the job done.
That's right.
And here we are, and clearly a pipe has broken, and you've been called, I've been called, and we're the best people for the job to get the job done. That's why we're here. So
I think so too.
Clearly, and we know how to, it's not, I feel like, again, it's not something we really have to do. It's not heavy lifting. It's not a lot of study. It's just, we're here. We just had to show up. We just have to make sure that we're not affected by that vibration. It's it. Keep the vibration you came in with and hold it. That's enough.
So it's almost like, like we have to put on the armor of God,
Right.
To make it through.
Yeah, you're here to do work. This is what we're doing.
We are literally the bee's knees, as Jack Black puts it.
Right. It's God's work, right? That's what we're doing. So that's why you're here. Nobody made a mistake. Nobody made a mistake in calling you here. It's you. You're supposed to be here. This is supposed to go down like this. You're here for a reason, It's not like, oh, me, it can't be me, you know. So that's it. And I, you know,
I don't know if you've seen Google Trends about the Mandela, but
yeah, I used Google.
really,
Yeah, what's it
huh?
say? Is it going up?
July 2015 or August is when it really spiked for the ME.
July.
However,
What year?
huh?
What year?
July or August of 2015.
2015.
That's when it spiked.
Right. Yeah.
So would you
Yeah.
say it's been about that long? Yeah.
Well, no, because mine wasn't until I've only been really aware of it for like a year and a couple months. But
Yeah, me
there's
too.
a September 23rd date, 2015, that I got my eye on, because there's some shakeup in my personal world right there. So I think that's yeah. So, and I didn't know that until I noticed the changes in 16. Did I go back and look at that and went, oh wow. So, but anyway, those are yeah. But that makes sense to me. I think that's exactly where it happened. I looked into that for a little bit and tried to figure out what was CERN doing at that time. They have that weird mascot, right? They're Shiva.
Yes, which they say Shiva's changed the number of arms
Right.
that he or she
Oh,
has.
really? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That of course it would change. Why would it stay consistent?
I know.
Might as well change that too.
Nothing seems to stay consistent except for us right now. We're the only ones who are not really.
Right. You're the consistent thing here. Right.
And you are too.
Yep.
And so is everybody out there in our chat. So I do want to thank you for bringing awareness, into the psychology of the ME, because we're all looking for we're all looking for answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we may not have all the answers, but we have some of them.
Yeah,
we've come to the conclusion, okay, that we're here for a reason. Like you said, we're here for a reason. Nothing happens without consequence.
Right.
And we're here for God. We have God's protection, and I also think He knows our hearts, to be true, and maybe that's why He chose us.
Yeah, that's why you're
could
here.
That be why?
That's why you're here.
And we're going to be rewarded, when it's all said and done. I believe, after dealing with these kinds of people, perhaps.
Oh yeah, no. There's a huge gift waiting on the other side. There's no way you can't have this kind of darkness without its, opposite extreme. There's no way. So
yeah, and don't you go into, like, you talk about that in your videos, don't you, about the whole duality stuff?
I do, for sure. Yes, exactly. There's no, they don't. It's not, we're in a duality physical space, and that's, yeah, exactly. And if you see extreme darkness, you can rest assured that its exact opposite is here as well. It's not hiding. It's not coming. It's not over there somewhere. It's not coming in 3 weeks or in 3 hours. It's here. It exists simultaneously. It does. And we just have to, we're it. I think that light is us. And, it takes one match to light up a room.
Yes, exactly. And should we focus on any specific date in time? That should we just
stay now?
Stay now?
Right now. All the time. Yeah.
Because the media wants us to focus on November 2nd, November 4th.
It doesn't come. Now. Stay now. Stay present.
Stay now.
Yeah. For sure.
You know the old saying from Kung Fu Panda. You remember when the turtle speaks to him, the old turtle?
What's he say? I might not remember.
Yesterday is a mystery. Or yet
tomorrow.
Wait, the past is history. The future is a mystery, and today is a present. That's why it's a gift.
Right. Yes.
So
stay there. Stay with the gift. Exactly. Present. Yep. Exactly.
So, but it is nice to hear that we have people like you out there who have a willingness to help the world rather than condemn it or corrupt it. And I believe by feeding these cretins, we only reinforce their negative behaviors. And I, again, really want to thank you for all your hard work you do.
Oh, thank you.
And into your videos.
Oh, thanks.
And you deserve some recognition,
Oh, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And thank you for, I mean, you're kind of starting this whole thing. So I really appreciate it. I'm sure everybody does. So thank you.
You're welcome, brother.
Nice meeting you.
Yes, and you're welcome to upload this onto your feed if you would like.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
And I'd like you to join on a Friday night.
I'll be there.
We're going to be talking about this subject matter, and I want to thank you and all of you out there. Have a great Mandela Effect night, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Hang tight, man.
You too.